it's Sarah. Instead of giving you guys the recent news of One Direction, I thought I would do a receipt video because it's been highly requested. I've done 2 receipt videos in the past, so this will be my 3rd one. And quick disclaimer, you can believe anything you want. Reading these receipts aren't supposed to make you think it's 100% real, but they're just meant to analyze. And they're also fun to do. So here's the Larry receipt video part 3. Okay, here's the first receipt, and it's not very long. So this says, I was at Abby the other night for my boyfriend's birthday party, and we had a booth near the private booth section. And right after we drunkenly sang happy birthday, Harry fucking Styles walked past with Jeff and his girlfriend and Louis fucking Tomlinson. I was freaking out, and my friend yelled, hey, it's my boyfriend's name, birthday. And then Harry and Louis turned around and held thumbs up and yelled congrats. And then Louis put his hand around Harry's hip and led him through the crowd. This isn't much, but it was cute. So obviously there's a lot of receipts that I don't find believable, but the reason why I found this receipt a little more believable, because the girl made it sound like it was so casual, like it actually sounded pretty relatable, pretty believable, pretty realistic. Like if she said, oh my gosh, Harry and Louis were making out, and she made up some like fanfic story, it wouldn't be really believable. Like you can tell when something was written in like a fan fiction kind of way versus something that somebody actually saw, because it sounds realistic. I mean, I can see Harry and Louis going to a club together, giving a thumbs up, and maybe like holding each other's hand or something. It's very subtle. Okay, here's the second receipt, but even shorter. They said, okay, OMG, my sister works at Sony and she barely tells me anything related to One Direction, but OMG, she told me that they are planning on leaking the video that Louis and Harry made on the X Factor. I'm freaking out. So I think the video she's talking about is that picture we've all seen, like Louis and Harry are outside in 2010, and there's a bunch of like news anchor people around them. It looks like that they're making a video and talking almost like a future coming out video. I mean, it could have been anything, we don't know what it is, but she claims that her sister works at Sony and they're going to be leaking this video soon that is coming out. My opinion on this is this one doesn't sound as believable because it's very vague and it sounds like someone just typed that up. It could be real, but I'm going to take this one for a grain of salt. Okay, this next one is a little bit longer. So this was a while ago, but I'm almost certain it still counts. I managed to get tickets for the last O2RA concert in Sheffield, and I've been a Larry ever since I saw how everybody freaked out when they hugged and googled it later. But I live in Rotherham, which is next to Doncaster, so I pretty much go there a lot cause my town is shit. Anyway, it must have been early days, maybe late 2011, 2012, but I saw them at Donny Dome. Pretty sure Louis has mentioned it before, but it's a leisure complex with swimming and ice skating with my friends. We saw them on the rapids in the swimming pool, but back then I only really knew them from X Factor and I wasn't as big of a fan as I was then. They spent ages going around the rapids though, and I'm pretty sure I saw them going down the double person slide together because Harry was wearing neon blue swimming shorts and you pretty much couldn't miss him. Anyway, saw them ice skating a bit after. You can get day tickets where you go in and out of both. Harry fell when they were going down the slope and Louis laughed while helping him up. They stalled everyone on the way up the other slope because H couldn't do it and had to pull himself up with his hands while Louis jokingly pushed him up. Gonna be honest, I remember being like, I don't care if they're famous, they need to hurry the fuck up, because they kept talking and laughing. In hindsight, I'm pretty sure this is where he got his night changes skills from. Didn't see them much after that because I left, but my friend told me that they went to the cafe together after. I tried pressing my friends for more information recently, but all they could remember was that they were sat across from each other and the short one was throwing chips in his mouth while Harry laughed. I honestly regret it so much that I was not a Larry then, because I would have been on the floor crying if I had. I'm sorry that I don't have more, but I don't know, seems like a cute date together. So she mentioned a lot, there was a lot going on there. I'm a little iffy about this one because on one hand it could be fake because this person could have just wrote a nice little fan fiction story of fluff, but another part of me says that this could possibly be real. She adds enough detail where it could be real, and to be honest guys, I know people do this, but who would waste their time writing a whole thing about Louis and Harry in so much detail but it's fake? Like, who would waste their time during the day to write something so fake? I know people do it for attention, but I just don't understand why someone would write a whole thing saying that this happened in so much detail, like make up all that stuff just to get attention. So if this is fake, she had to be pretty bored. But just reading it, it sounds real because of the detail that she described. It actually sounds like that she saw it or her friend saw it. And to be honest guys, you have to think about it. If she wanted attention, she would probably be more of a psycho fan. She doesn't doesn't sound like a psycho fan. She says, oh, I wish I was a fan of them before. Like, she sounds pretty chill, so I doubt a chill fan would really waste their time making something up like this. I mean, to me, it doesn't really sound like someone who wants attention, so I'm gonna say that that cute Larry date happened. Here's the next one, a lot shorter. From someone who saw them backstage at an award show, Louis seemed very twitchy and restless. He is so loud and constantly on the move, but Harry got him to sit down and started stroking the back of his neck and talking to him really quietly. Louis calmed down pretty much immediately. Harry really seemed to center him. It was quite magical to see. Now, even though this is short and doesn't seem to have a lot of detail, I still think this is real. So even though I usually tell you guys, oh, if it's long and has detail, it means it's real, that's not always the case. There's something about this that seems so subtle, which makes it sound so real. We have heard so many stories of people telling us that they have seen Louis and Harry backstage acting like this together. And the fact that it's so cute, like it's not sexual, it just sounds like something that they'd be comfortable with doing in front of their close friends backstage. So I believe this one. Here's the next one. This one says, not sure if this is anything too relevant, but I work at a coffee shop not too far from where Harry supposedly lives in Hampstead, and him and Louis came in once when I was there, and they didn't talk much when they were ordering. The only interaction I could see between them was Louis' hand on Harry's shoulder, but then they sat back and drank their drinks in the library area, and I found it quite amusing that the place was so quiet, but the two of them kept giggling really loudly to each other. Okay, the only part that really makes me doubt this is, why weren't there pictures? We've gotten so many receipts in the past and there's never been pictures. When I read some receipts, it's kind of understandable why they didn't have pictures because of the circumstance, but I feel like in this circumstance, this person could have got pictures. I mean, she could have made up any excuse for why she didn't take a picture. So this could have actually happened, but it seems like whenever we get a Larry proof, no one seems to have their phone out. I mean, it's 2016. Even if this receipt happened in 2010, there were still iPhones. Here's the next one, which is a bit longer. This person says, okay, so here's what happened. I was at an amusement park in Missouri today, and that's where my aunt lives. She's my dad's sister, and her name is Gina. Anyways, I got to her house afterwards, and we were just having a normal conversation about my baby cousin, Brantley, and she said that her friend, Amanda, works at an airport in Texas. She said that Amanda was on the plane because she's a flight attendant, and that Harry and Louis were on it together next to each other, and she said that they were having a conversation and holding hands, and she said it was kind of weird because they kept trying to hide their hands under a blanket they were sharing. And anyways, Louis asked for peanuts or something like M&Ms, so she went to get them, and when she came back, Harry was smiling and kissing Louis, and she described them as Harry was curly dark hair, and the other Louis was short and all over the other boy, Harry. Of course, I didn't believe my aunt at first because I thought she was kidding, but she called her friend Amanda, and I talked to her, and she said it's true that she didn't know they were famous, and I'm screaming, I can't breathe, help me, I need hope. I feel like every Larry receipt I read, someone's always saying, oh, I have connections, like my dad's brother's whatever works here, and they saw Louis and Harry do this, and then, you know, I got connections. I think it makes the story sound more believable. Like, I don't doubt that her aunt is a flight attendant or her friend or whatever. Like, it's quite possible that Louis and Harry were on the same plane. But here's where I'm a little suspicious. Like, I don't know if this is true, but don't Louis and Harry fly in private jets or something like that? I mean, it's quite possible that they could take a public airline, but I'm not really sure. It depends. I'd have to ask if her aunt or her friend works for an airline that's private or more like public. But the only thing that really gets me, guys, is how come this flight attendant who has no idea really who One Direction is, how can she point out two guys who are together out of the whole plane? Like in today's world, if there's a gay couple on a plane, no one's just going to like spot them out in front of everybody else and just pay attention to them. So I'm just wondering, why did this flight attendant just focus on Louis and Harry when she supposedly should have a job to do? Like, I feel like every receipt I read, it sounds like the person who has no idea about One Direction is always focusing on the two guys who are in One Direction. I just feel like in reality, if the person had no idea about One Direction, why would they be focused so much on those two members? But then again, it could possibly be true. And I think this is the second to last receipt. This person says, after the Jingle Ball performance, my friend's uncle works for them and walked past Harry's dressing room and heard moaning inside. He sent a Snapchat video to my friend who sent it to me, and all I heard was Harry moaning and Louis was nowhere to be found while that was happening. Now, one, this was a YouTube comment. And 2, it kind of just sounds unbelievable because if you guys just read it, it just sounds like someone just typed that. And I actually kind of find it creepy. Why would someone literally send a Snapchat of 2 people moaning or having sex? That's actually really creepy. I think it's creepier for someone to film somebody having sex or just the filming the noises of it and send it to somebody. I doubt that happened because for all that person knew, that couldn't have been Harry and Louis, could have been 2 other people. So I'm gonna say I don't really believe that as much. And I kind of doubt Louis and Harry would just casually have sex during the Jingle Ball. Okay, now here's the last one, and I actually found it really believable. They said, so grain of salt and all that, this is a bit long. I worked the Brits backstage as a gopher and assistant who gets things, food, chargers, people, etc. for the stars backstage. Anyways, I've done this for like 2 years. I've been a Larry for a little over 3 in case you need my credentials. As you know, Liam and Louis presented and were the only ones publicly there, but they were given a private green room backstage for the entire show. I thought this was really odd considering they had a table. They had this green room for the entire show and it was set up last minute, like literally the night before. Some of the requests were cards, FIFA, board games, Monopoly, Scrabble, strategy, fresh fruit and veggies, especially bananas and carrots, and a type of strout that I didn't recognize. So an hour before the red carpet, Lilo showed up with their team and Ollie, Niall, and Harry. Niall and Harry were in joggers and jumpers. Both had beanies on. I met them at the back entrance and led them to the green room. When they arrived, Louis and Harry were very close to each other, not quite touching, but it seemed like they were before they met me and my boss. Once we reached their green room, they all shook my hand and thanked me and my boss for the inconvenience. Harry has very smooth hands. Anyway, I was sent back like an hour later by my boss to tell Louis and Liam their car had come out back. I knocked on the door and Ollie opened it. Niall was playing FIFA and talking to Louis. And Louis was standing getting his hair sprayed by Lou, and Harry stood up to fix a piece of it, and Lou squeezed his hand. Harry was biting his lips and looking really uncomfortable, and kinda looked like he nodded or bobbed his head or something. Liam was on his phone and head pointed, jerked to the door to Louis, whose back was to me. Louis did that hand rub thing he does, and he and Liam followed me. So I turned to walk to the exit where their car was, thinking they were behind me. But when I looked back, only Liam was, and he turned around and yelled, "Tomo," and Louis came jogging out of the green room, kind of flushed, and his hair was messed up a bit, and his eyes were kind of glossy/red. And he was like, "Sorry mate, last minute touches," and Liam kind of showed him and I took them to their car. And Louis shook my hand again, thanking me for the room, and Liam hugged me. After the show, Louis and Liam went back to the green room and changed, and then they all left, but this time in 2 different cars. Louis got in joggers and a jumper barefoot, but took his dress clothes in a suit travel bag with him. Liam left with Lou and Ollie and the rest of the team, and his dress clothes also in the traveling bag, and Harry and Louis left in the second car. Harry thanked me again for the green room setup and hugged me, but when they left, they both had glossy eyes. It was really sad. I saw them turn the corner to the back exit and Louis reached for Harry's hand. It was the sweetest thing I saw. So yes, that was very long. Obviously, as we know, anybody can type anything. If you have the time, the patience, you can type anything. So basically this was really recent. This was like, what, a few weeks ago? This was when only Louis and Liam showed up to the Brit Awards and we thought Harry and Niall just stayed home. So apparently Harry and Niall did show up, but in very casual clothes. I mean, if they had time to go there at the end, I don't know why they just didn't go to the award show. And she was basically saying Louis and Harry went off in the same car, and before they did that, they were holding hands. And when Lou Teasdale was doing Louis' hair, Harry went to fix a piece of it. Like, these things I can see them doing because it's so casual, it's so subtle, and I think that they're comfortable doing these things around people they trust and people they're comfortable with. And they're comfortable with Lou Teasdale, they're comfortable with their bandmates and anybody backstage, like possibly their backup band or their crew. I mean, I'm sure everybody that's affiliated with One Direction probably knows about Louis and Harry. Anyway, take from this what you will. Leave me comments down below of your opinions of all these receipts. Tell me if you think any of them are believable, none of them are believable, whatever. And like always, I make a video whenever I want, so like and subscribe. All my social media links are in the description, and I'll see you guys later. Bye. Nobody can drag me down.